All right, namaste everyone. Good evening. It's pleasure to have you everyone in this beautiful session. So we are back with one more very interesting, intensive session with a the great speaker with us today. And my name is Lohit Yotiavar from Career Naksha. I am one of the senior master trainer and counselor. And this live YouTube session every week, monthly, that we conduct with a great topic, with a great personality associated with iShards. And iShare is one of the um, in a firm where they work towards mental health psychology and to train aspiring psychologists or the counselors on mental health and psychology and many other psychological aspects. And as a part of Career Naksha, I'll just, I know the topic is very interesting, and I'll not take much time, but it's my duty to introduce a little bit a background of why we are doing what we are doing. Yeah. So Career Naksha is an edtech platform. It's been more than 8 to 10 years now. We are working towards society, to the students, to working professional, to the parents and the educationists. A primary service includes career counseling guidance to the one who is looking forward to lead their life happily, the pursuit of happiness, for example, and to identify what career is suitable for them and what university, what course, and the job profile that they can do once they get graduated from the university. And we also work we help the students to build their profile, build a skill set, to help them on personal development or life skills. And also we do train faculties on teacher training or capacity building. So we work on mental health and psychological aspects. We have centers across India. We have more than 50 centers across India. And the many areas that we worked, irrespective of the regions we work, our main intention is to reach every single student so and help them to identify what is something that they definitely they can do, and find, help them to find their purpose and to lead, help to lead their life. Yeah. So with that, we every month, every week, on Thursdays, we conduct online sessions so that we create a knowledge session with the eminent speaker to help the student to get information about new things and how they can evolve themselves, and to understand the kind of challenges and how they can overcome of that. Yeah. So with that, we have a great personality, and this is the second time I'm having a session with Bhanumathi Das Sharma ma'am, and who is a certified CBT, REBT, and SFBT practitioner, and she's CHCP level 2 trainer, and she's a certified relationship coach. She's also certified queer affirmative therapist as well, and also as a societal development. She also work as a faculty, as a teacher in art of living. So that's really great to know. I'm happy to have invite you, Bhanumathi ma'am. It's a pleasure to listen to you one more time. And today's topic is really interesting. How someone can draw a boundary and communicate assertively. So, which is something that for Gen Z, for example, or when they get into work, or communication is not only when you get into work. So it starts from your home and the education in the school and in the society and anywhere you go. So there's something that very important, how someone can set up a boundary, and when how someone can learn to communicate assertively with someone. So without further ado, so warm welcome once again, Vanut ma'am, and the forum is yours. You can just the start the session. So many people are waiting for you to waiting for your great thoughts and insight on this topic. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I would like to thank Career Naksha and ICHA Support Foundation for giving me this opportunity. And I think this is the third time I'm conducting under Career Naksha platform. First time, long time back actually, maybe 3 4 years back, I had conducted a webinar on solution focused grief therapy, and then some 2 months back, I had conducted a webinar on Kintsugi, the art of golden repair. And today I'll be conducting on boundaries, how to communicate effectively, how to draw your boundaries and communicate assertively. Today we will be discussing about it. So, have you ever found yourself saying yes to something and then regretting it later? Perhaps you had agreed to a last minute favor, or stayed late at work even though you were exhausted, or let someone interrupt you while you were talking just to avoid conflict. In that particular moment, it might have been seemed easier and less confrontational to go along with what someone else wants. However, over time, these small concessions can chip away at your energy, confidence, and even your self worth. So, drawing boundaries and communicating assertively are essential skills for maintaining healthy relationships and preserving not only your well being but also others' well being. The truth is, setting boundaries isn't about building walls or pushing people away. It's about recognizing and taking care of your own needs and values while maintaining healthy and respectful relationship with others. Assertive communication is the key to making these boundaries clear without guilt, anger, or awkwardness. In a world that often rewards the act of people pleasing, drawing the line can initially feel uncomfortable. I remember I watched a lot of TV serials, so I remember in Star Plus, there used to be I think it is still there, Anupama, the serial Anupama. That character, her character was a people pleasing personality. She feels that she has to please everybody. She used to please her ex-husband and his family, and also please her current husband and his family. And in the process, she used to feel very exhausted, overwhelmed. She used to feel taken for granted, and she used to be treated very badly. So that's why in this webinar, we are going to break it down into practical and achievable steps so you can start feeling more grounded, less overwhelmed, and more in control of your time, energy, and also your emotions. Whether you are new to this or you're looking to strengthen your communication skills, you will come away with tools and strategies you can apply in your real life, and you can apply it significantly also. So, understanding boundaries. So, let's understand what boundaries are. Boundaries are the invisible rules that define what is acceptable for you and what is not. Consider them your personal guidelines for how you wish to be treated, both by others and also by yourself. These limits help safeguard your emotional energy, your time, physical space, and also your values. They are the Lakshman Rekha which draws limit to tolerance and goodness beyond which you cannot go. Types of boundaries: emotional boundaries, physical boundaries, time boundaries, mental boundaries, material boundaries, and sexual boundaries. Let's see each one of them in detail because each boundary plays a very, very important role in our well being. What are emotional boundaries? These boundaries help you to protect your feelings and your emotional space. For example, you might say, I'm not comfortable discussing this right now. Physical boundaries. These relate to your personal space and your preferences regarding physical touch. Here you can say, I prefer not to be touched, or I prefer not to be hugged. Time boundaries. These boundaries help you manage your time and energy. For instance, you could say, I can't join your call tonight, but I am available tomorrow afternoon. Mental boundaries. These allow you to maintain your own thoughts and beliefs. Here you may say, I respect your viewpoints, but I see things differently. So we are expressing our boundaries with reasonableness and respect here. Material boundaries. These set limits on your possessions. For example, you can say, I'm happy to lend things, but please return it back to me by Friday. You have to set a time frame for it. I remember when people when they used to my guests when they used to visit my house, and after dinner I used to pack some food for them, for the other family members in tiffin carrier, and conveniently they used to forget returning back the tiffin carrier to me. And every time I meet them and I ask for it, they will say, "Oh, I forgot. Oh, I forgot." After some time, they will deny also. No, I don't have any tiffin carrier that you had given. So by that time, it would have changed hand, or they would have conveniently forgotten it. Similarly, umbrella. If you lend umbrella to somebody, rest assured that they are not going to return it back to you. And so this way we need to know, we need to draw the material boundaries. And I also remember those days we used to have audio cassettes. Once you lend audio cassettes, that's the end of it. You're not getting it back. Similarly, books also. When you lend some books, people conveniently forget to return the book. So you have to set boundaries, and you have to say that, okay, I'm lending this book to you, but kindly return it back. Not just return it back, but you have to set a time frame also when you want it back. So it's very, very important. Then sexual boundaries. These are the limits and rules a person sets around their body, their sexuality, and intimate experiences. These boundaries help individuals feel safe, respected, and in total control in both physical and emotional aspects of intimate relationship. Here you can say, I'm okay with kissing, but I'm not comfortable going further right now. Or you can say, I need to feel emotionally connected before becoming physically intimate with you. So these are some of the types of boundaries which we discuss along with the examples. Now let's see the advantages of setting boundaries. They protects mental and emotional health, promotes healthy relationships, builds respect and confidence, improves communication, creates space for growth, and reduces resentment. Why do we struggle with boundaries? Let's see why we struggle with them. It can be fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of risking relationship, or internalized belief that self-care is selfish and prioritizing others over yourself is important. This was a cultural norm which we had, which we used to believe that uh, we have to prioritize others' needs, otherwise we will be selfish. It can be lack of practice, it can be lack of support or anxiety, together versus separateness, feeling guidance system versus reasoning guidance system, and poor differentiation of self. So I want to explain a little bit more about the last three: togetherness versus separateness. Um, Togetherness versus separateness are two opposing forces. Togetherness force compels us to be with others, to seek approval, and to attach to others. Whereas separateness force compels us to be independent, to have our own beliefs, and not be smothered by others. So we usually try to balance these two opposing forces. If they are balanced, then very good, we can be close to our loved ones without losing our sense of individuality. Next is feeling guidance system versus reasoning guidance system. These are two inner guidance system. Under feeling guidance system, we have feelings, instincts, urges, automatic reactions, and under reasoning guidance system, we have thinking, reasoning, logic, judgment, rational thought. In order to make functional decisions, we need to access both the guidance system. Both of them are required. And not only that, we should be able to differentiate between them. So that leads to our next point, that is poor differentiation of self. What do we mean by differentiation of self? It is the ability to maintain your sense of self while staying emotionally connected to others. Especially, it is applicable especially within the family system. So, poorly differentiated people are more likely to get enmeshed with others. That is, they will be emotionally fused with others. They will not be able to come out of it. And it becomes very difficult for them to draw boundaries. Let's see, what do healthy boundaries look like? Healthy boundaries are clear, respectful, firm, consistent, and reasonable. You don't need to justify them with lengthy explanation and apologies. They are not about controlling others. Rather, they focus on taking responsibility for your own well being. When communicating assertively, boundaries foster mutual respect and enable deeper and more authentic connections. So let's see the difference between boundaries and walls. Boundaries protect your energy without isolating you, whereas walls isolate you by keeping others completely out. Boundaries invite respect, understanding from others, whereas walls avoid connection and understanding. Boundaries are flexible and adjust as relationships grow, while walls are firm and unchanging, built from fear. Boundaries allow closeness without losing yourself, whereas walls push others away, even those who care. Boundaries empower you to feel safe and respected, whereas walls limit the personal growth and connection. Now let's see the link between boundaries and assertive communication. Healthy boundaries rely not only on what we allow or reject, but also on how we express those limits. That is, with reasonableness and with respect. So, how do we express those limits? With reasonableness and with respect towards the other person. This is where communication styles become very, very important. So let's see what those communication styles are. There are four types of there are four communication styles. One is passive communication. The other one is aggressive communication. The third is passive aggressive. It's also called indirect aggressive communication and assertive communication. Many people fall into one of the first three unsuccessful communication styles, that is passive communication, aggressive communication, or passive aggressive communication. Let's see each one of them. What is passive communication? People who communicate, who have this communication style, they avoid conflict at all costs. Often, if they avoid conflicts, and often it leads to resentment. They feel anxious, not to displease others. That's why they avoid conflict at all costs. Aggressive communication is just the opposite of passive communication. They demand respect, but they at the cost of connection. They aggressively, they are vocal, they fight for respect, and they will argue with you, but at the cost of connection. So next is passive aggressive. or indirect aggressive. It is also called microaggression. Here, communication masks frustration in sarcasm, silence treatment, or guilt tripping. Like people who resort to this type of communication, they do lot of body shaming. जो हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना चुगली करना, that is backbiting they do, and then they are very manipulative. But the real communication or the healthy communication is assertiveness communication. Here, you communicate with reasonableness and with respect your thoughts, feelings, and your opinion. It is the ideal balance. It is where the boundaries thrive. It involves expressing your needs with clarity and respect without trying to control or attack the other person. Assertiveness is not about conflicts, it's about authenticity and self respect. Now, let's go for step by step guide to drawing boundaries. How to draw boundaries? Step by step, let's see. Setting boundaries is not a one time task, it's an ongoing practice of self awareness, communication, and emotional resilience. The process can feel uncomfortable in the beginning, especially if you are used to people pleasing or you grew up in an environment where your needs were not prioritized, or you believe to that cultural belief system where you felt that others' needs are a priority and your needs will take a backseat. But however, with time and intention, setting and boundaries becomes a powerful act of self respect and clarity. So now let's break this down into practical steps. First step is start with self awareness. Before you can communicate a boundary, you need to recognize what is not working for you. Self aware. This begins with tuning into your own emotions and energy. Start noticing what drains you. Pay attention to situations or people that leave you feeling exhausted, resentful, anxious, or overwhelmed. Look for signs of burnout or bitterness. These are often clues that boundaries have been crossed, not only once but sometimes repeatedly also. Then you need to ask yourself, when do I feel obligated rather than willing? Where do I feel taken for granted? Where do I feel invisible? The goal here is not to judge yourself, but to honestly observe the patterns. Next step is clarify your limits. Once you identify what feels off, get specific about what you need instead. Use reflective prompts or journaling to clarify your personal, emotional, and emotional time and energy boundaries. Try filling in statements. I'll give you some examples. Try filling in statements like I need more time, or I need more time alone, or I need more honesty, I need more structure, I need more rest. Or you can say, I am no longer available for last minute requests. I am no longer available for criticisms. I am no longer available for dramas. Then you can say, it's important for me to protect my sleep. It is important for me to protect my energy. It's important for me to protect my peace of mind. It's important for me to protect my weekends. The clearer you are, the easier it will be to communicate these needs. And not only that, you will be able to communicate your needs with total confidence. But here comes the catch. Anticipate pushback. This is a truth. Not everyone will appreciate your boundaries. Some people may feel confused, hurt, or even angry, especially if they have benefited from your lack of limits before. Because suddenly you're setting a boundary and they are not used to it and they have benefited from you before. So suddenly they will not be able to accept it, and there will be pushback also. I remember a few years back, we used to stay in a different place, and our next door neighbor had this habit of frequently coming to my house and asking for a cup of sugar or some butter or coffee. Periodically, she used to come and ask for something or the other. So after some months, I was feeling exhausted. Then I decided to say no. The moment I said no, she was not used to it. Always I had obliged her, and she became very angry and she fought with me and all. So it really, there was a pushback for me, and I was really taken aback. I didn't know how to deal with it, and there was a lot of discomfort also. But however, this will happen once you start setting your boundaries. But that discomfort does not mean you're doing something wrong. It simply means that now the dynamics is shifting, which is often necessary for healthier relationship. And you need to remind yourself that I am allowed to have needs. Other people's disappointment is not my burden to carry. And boundaries are not rejections, they are redirection. So you need to practice self compassion. Staying grounded in your why will help you hold firm even when others push you back, or even when others resist. Then practice scripts and prepare responses. Because the moment somebody pushes you back, you may have the feeling of getting caught off guard. So, feeling caught off guard is one of the main reasons for backtracking in the boundaries. Because if you're not used to it and people will push back, and then you will be derailed, you will backtrack, you will not be able to enforce it. Therefore, it helps to prepare the language in advance for common scenarios. So, if you can prepare some scripts and keep it ready and practice it mentally, then you can use them according to the context. So, I'll give you a few examples. Uh, you can say, I appreciate the offer, but I won't be able to take it right now. Or you can say, that doesn't work for me. Sorry, that doesn't work for me. Or you can say, I am not comfortable discussing this. Or you can say, I need some time to think about this. I'll get back to you. Let's revisit this another time when I have more capacity. Having these scripts ready gives you something to rely on when the pressure is high, or emotions are stirred, or when there are pushbacks. So, we need to remember that setting boundaries is not about building walls, it is about creating clarity, trust, and emotional safety, not only for yourself, but for others also. Like any skill, it becomes stronger the more and more you practice. So you have to prepare the script, keep practicing it, and then initially there will be pushback, but then ultimately you will be able to successfully do it. Then using I statements to communicate boundaries. This I'll be explaining it in details after a few minutes. Then learning to say no. This is a very, very important assertive communication. No is a complete sentence. You don't have to over explain or justify yourself when saying no. A no is a very, very important assertiveness technique. Now let's see how we can use the I statement or I messages to communicate boundaries. The basic structure looks like this. But before that, when you are expressing boundaries, the words you choose are very, very important. A highly effective tool for assertive communication is this I statement or I messages. And it has a specific format. Um, the format is, I feel. You have to express the emotion. I feel when specific behavior, because impact or the reason. And what is your preference? You have to say, I would prefer The preferred action. This approach is commonly used in relationship coaching and counseling to help individuals express their needs clearly, calmly, and respectfully. This approach is very effective while communicating with children also. So, unlike blaming or accusatory, using accusatory language, we start with the phrases like usually when we are using accusatory language, we always use phrases like, "You never do this for me. You are always late. Why do you always do this?" But when you use this I statement, then it focuses on your own experiences and requests. There is a shift in the language and it reduces the likelihood of defensiveness, because otherwise, whenever we say, "You never do this for me, why do you always do this? You're always late," these are offensive statements, and the person who listens to it, they immediately go they immediately become defensive. So what you do is, there is here, when you use this, there is a shift in the language, and it is reduces the likelihood of defensiveness and fosters mutual understanding and respect. So the basic structure I have explained to you. So let us break it down into in detail and with examples. I feel. So you have to name the emotion when you say "I feel," not accusing the other person. It can be any emotion. It can be anger. It can be hurt. Any emotion. When describing the specific behavior, when is it that you feel that emotion? Not a general character judgment. So it has to be specific, contextual. When do you feel that emotion? Context. And why do you feel that emotion? Because explaining why it matters to you. And your preference, stating your clear and respectful request, not an order. So your preferred action, clear and respectful request. So here some examples are there. I feel worried when you come home later than scheduled because I look forward to spending time with you. I would prefer if you could let me know beforehand. This message sets boundary around communication and respect without shaming or blaming the other person. It acknowledges feelings and it clarifies expectation and it invites cooperation. I feel overwhelmed when I'm asked to do and when I'm asked to take on extra tasks last minute because I have a full schedule. I would prefer heads up going forward. I feel hurt when you joke about things I have asked you not to. I have It makes it hard for me to feel safe. So I would prefer if we could agree on what is off limit. So these are some of the examples of I state. Now let's see why people find it very difficult to draw boundaries. That is finding your way through common boundary challenges. Even with the best intentions and careful communication, boundary setting doesn't always go smoothly. Challenges are inevitable, but they don't mean that you're doing it wrong. Here's how to handle the most common obstacles with confidence and compassion. When people ignore your boundaries, some people may test you or they may overlook or challenge your boundaries, especially if they were used to a different version of you. So instead of escalating or withdrawing, aim to stay calm and restate and reinforce your boundaries. You can try saying, I feel disrespected when my boundaries are ignored because it makes me feel invisible. I would prefer that you acknowledge what I'm saying and honor my space. Here you are using the I statement when people ignore your boundaries. How do you do it? I'll repeat the sentence. I feel disrespected when my boundaries are ignored. and then you have to give a reason for it, because it makes me feel invisible. And now, what is your preference? I would prefer that you acknowledge what I'm saying and honor my space. So you are requesting with reasonableness and with lot of respect. Repetition can be your friend. You don't need to justify or over explain. Just keep repeating it and just reassert, repeat calmly and consistently. This is called as broken record in assertiveness technique. Very effective assertiveness technique. It's called broken record. Remember, I remember when I was young in my childhood, we had a record player, and then we used to put that it like a plate, the record player. We used to put it, and then the needle we used to place it, and it used to play the music. And if there is a scratch, and then it used to get stuck, and it will keep on repeating the same line again and again. So this is called broken record. So it is a very, very useful assertiveness technique. So you can keep on repeating it, the same thing, without getting anxious about it. So then next is when you feel guilty or selfish. Guilt is common, especially if you have been conditioned to prioritize others' needs over your own, or if you are a people pleaser, like that Anupama character in that serial. But setting boundaries isn't selfish. It is an act of self care that helps you show up more authentically in your relationship. So that you don't have to feel guilty or selfish about it. So you can try the simple reframe. You can tell you can again use the I statement. I feel emotionally drained when I don't take breaks during the day because I can't function well. I would prefer to step away for a while and return when I am recharged. In this way, the other person will also be able to understand. So you're being reasonable and you're also expressing it in a respectful way. So assertiveness communication, two basic ground rules are there. It has to be reasonable and it has to be communicated in a very, very respectful manner. Then next is when boundaries feel awkward at first. Like any new habit, boundary setting can feel unnatural in the beginning. And that is totally normal. Because it's a learned skill. You're not born with that skill. It is not an innate trait. It's a learned skill. You can think of it as an emotional muscle memory. You are training your voice, you're training your confidence and your sense of safety. So give permission to yourself to start small. Don't immediately start big. Start small. What you can do is you can practice communicating assertively with a trusted friend, and use a script from the you already prepare a script, and you can use those scripts from those I statement worksheet. You keep the worksheet ready and you start practicing it. And every time you are able to successfully express your successfully and assertively express your boundaries, celebrate each time. Celebrate it, because even if you feel nervous, you go ahead and celebrate. Over time, what feels awkward in the beginning will eventually become your second nature. It will become like a muscle memory. Building confidence over time. You won't be able to feel confident instantly. So over time, you have to build the confidence. So building confidence to set and sustain boundaries takes time. But it is entirely possible, even if it feels intimidating at first. In the beginning, it will feel intimidating. Like any new skill, the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. So, first is start small. You don't need to change your entire life in one day. Instead, focus on one or two situations where you can set a manageable boundary. This can be as simple as saying, I'm not available for that right now. Or you can turn off your phone after working hours. And each time you honor your needs, take a moment to acknowledge it. These acts of self respect are worth celebrating. Celebrate it. No matter how minor they may seem, confidence builds not from perfection but from consistency. So you will start to notice that saying no doesn't feel as scary as it was in the beginning. You will trust your inner voice more, and you will realize that the world doesn't fall apart. When you advocate for yourself, you will be able to do it with confidence. And if it still feels difficult, that's okay. Growth often involves messy, brave attempts before it becomes easier. Setting boundaries and communicating assertively is one of the kindest thing you can do for yourself, and not only for yourself, for your relationship. You can be either selfish, or you can be selfishly selfless. All you have to do is you have to be consistent, and it is okay to say no. You acknowledge your needs, nothing wrong in it. So So let me summarize. Before this, let me summarize. In this webinar, we explored what healthy boundaries are, why they matter to us, and how different communication styles impact boundary setting, and how to use iMessage formula to express yourself with clarity and care. If you are unsure where to begin, try this. Choose one small area in your life that feels overwhelming and set a small boundary this week. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just needs to be authentic you, and you have to be consistent in it. So, the takeaways for today: boundaries are a skill. The more you set them, the easier it gets. True connections respect your limits. Self care is not selfish. Your well being really matters. Remember this, the last one. Your well being really matters. Thank you so much.
Amazing, Bhanumathi ma'am. So it's always great to hear and get insights from you. It's not just a knowledge or learning speaks. It talks about your, the years of experience that you have working with educators and the students. So great. I mean, there's something greatly you've pointed out how someone can implement and the uh, the techniques that someone can follow. So that's something that I really impressed with. So I have a couple of viewers, if you have any questions to Banat ma'am, so we can put in the chat box so that we will address that. And uh, Banat ma'am, I just want to like a generic question as a just a point from a participant point of view. Now, when we like what kind of age group when we talk about the school, so what kind of age group that we need to address on this particular topic? So begin with in the school.
See, drawing boundaries and communicating assertively, you can do it. It works very well with children actually, especially when children don't listen to you. You need to communicate assertively with them, and you need to learn to draw boundaries with them. Otherwise, if you give them any instruction, they will not follow it. For that, you have to be very consistent, and this I messages works wonderfully, not only with children, with also it also works in intimate relationship, especially with children. How you can convey this, how you use his I messages is, like you have to eye contact has to be there. Usually children are in height, they are small, so you need to uh, like sit down and bring yourself down to their level. Not that you stand up and then they look up at you and then you tell them no. That eye contact has to be there. Either you sit down, lower yourself to their height level, or you lift them up and put them in a table, so that eye contact has to be perfect, same level it has to be there. And if you use this eye messages, children understand. They are very, very intelligent. They understand better than adults. And learning to say no, you have to be
Right.
consistent with children. When you say no, you have to be consistent with it. Otherwise, they are very manipulative. When you say no, and then next they will keep on pestering you. But you have to be consistent when you say no. Hope I've answered your question.
Got it. Understood. So that's lovely. Ye- Yes, yes, pretty much. So great. I mean, so now, I mean, the students getting, I mean, children's getting influenced, and they're learning most of the time when, they're getting to society, seeing other people, right? So, teaching them the talk assertively, very big challenge. Even the people having so many of the experience in MNC as well. So they find very difficult time when they want to say no, right? So that creates more problem in the call. So I think this session is very helpful for irrespective of the category. But yes, if we train or teach, if this is something that can be added on in their life skills, and so that they can practice in the very beginning, and when they reach the professional career, so there's something that they definitely can
Yeah,
avoid
but
the
the
main
word of caution, I
challenges.
want to word of caution. When you if your boss orders something and you say, "Oh, I've learned to say assertively," and then you say no, then it's better to be passive. Don't be assertive, because you may end up losing your job. So you have to use your discretion where to say no. And then if you're going to
Yeah,
say
yeah,
no
yeah.
with
It should be.
your boss, and then you get fired. So you have to
God.
you have to context where you can use, with whom you can use. You have to be extra careful.
Yes, and that's what life skills talk. It teaches you. How to behave in every situation and how to perform. So it's not that okay. Bhanumathi ma'am and Lois said okay, you say no, and he starts saying no, okay, because I heard this, and without knowing the situation or understanding. So I think then more than that, you could be, it will be okay. You just listen to him saying without saying no, so it will create more problem. Yeah, rightly said.
Yeah,
I
and then
think
it's
our
better
viewers
to,
have
if
taken.
it is your boss, it's better to be passive, not assertive.
Right, right, right. Great then. So we had a really great session. So I think
Any
I'm not
questions?
seeing any questions. So if anyone, as of now, I don't see any questions. I think viewers have really enjoyed and learned with the session. And if anyone have any questions, even after whenever you watch our recorded live session in your YouTube channels, if you have anything that comes up, you want to share your thought or any implementation or techniques that you have implemented, please put it in the chat box, so that definitely it will useful. And if you have any question in the comment, so we'll definitely address, our team will address. And thank you so much once again, Bhanumathi ma'am, for being here and
Thank you.
adding so much value to this session. Looking forward to have multiple sessions in the future for sure. And thank you so much,
Thank
viewers,
you.
for being here,
It was
listen
my
to us,
pleasure.
and echoing. Thank you. And echoing what we have addressed so far. And if you anyone is looking for any kind of support, assistance in career guidance, or any kind of services that we provide, feel free to visit our website careernaksha.com, and there's contact number given. Our team will definitely answer your call and assist you at the right time. And thank you so much for to Aishars for being a partner for this session. And we'll see you soon with a very great topic and with the eminent speaker. So till then, be safe, take care. Thank you so much once again. I'm
Thank you
ending
so
the
much.
session. Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you.